Here with more is Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. Attorney General, thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning to you. This is really
Great to be with you.
Interesting because the governor has given rights back to the parents. Many parents and these school boards are saying, we don't want these rights. We're going to sue you. We want to mask these kids up. And what concerns me is that they're torturing the kids again. These kids who are exercising their right to come back to school without a mask are being isolated. They're being shamed. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I mean, listen, there's a lot of misinformation in the media. If you're a parent and you want your child to wear a mask 6 or 7, 8 hours a day, that's great. That's your right. But recognize there are going to be other parents that come to a very different conclusion. And what's so tragic about all this is we're not talking about the kids. If you're a parent of a child with asthma, as one parent shared with me, wearing a mask for now close to 2 years has been just a very difficult experience. I had another parent who shared with me their daughter that used to be an all-A student is now a mostly C student because they wear glasses, and the school has gone from a joy to complete misery. And another parent of a school-age child said how excited their daughter was, that for the very first time they could see what their best friend from school actually looks like. I mean, think about the mental health crisis as well that we're having on our kids. So this is simply saying, listen, we live in a pluralistic society. People are going to think differently. If you're a parent, you know what's best for you, and guess what? That's in the code of Virginia. That's the message I would give to these school boards is it's explicit in the code that in the law, parents have a fundamental right to the education and upbringing of their children. So all this is saying right now is about parental empowerment. That's what Governor Youngkin ran on. That was a big issue that I ran on as well. We're just following through on our campaign promises. We are proud to stand with parents, and we're really hoping the school boards will get the message. We have a court case coming up next week in Arlington. And my expectation is this case is going to get brought up to the Virginia Supreme Court for resolution real quick. But nobody's talking about what's happening to these kids. We have a mental health crisis, and we need to make some changes too. We're now going into year 3 of this, and we need to recognize the impact it's having on our children.
Mr. Attorney General, it appears they're not getting the message, because here's what the Virginia School District are saying in a lawsuit against the governor and yourself. They're saying this lawsuit is not brought out of choice, but out of necessity. With COVID-19 transition rates high, our hospitals at crisis level, and the continued recommendation of health experts to retain universal mask wearing for the time being, this is simply not the time to remove this critical component of layered health and safety mitigation strategies. This was not written by parents, Mr. Attorney General. This is written by unions. This is written by public sector folks who don't want the choice for parents. I'll kind of ask again what Rachel asked. Is it simply lawsuits that can be done to fight this? Or what can be done to help parents and kids who are being shamed and not allowed to exercise this choice right now, even though you guys have taken action?
Well, listen, I mean, right now we're going to be obviously bringing this to court. We are telling everybody right now, trust the legal process. We're very confident on the strength of our legal case. Right now, listen to your principals. We think there's going to be a resolution, not in a matter of months, but in a matter of just weeks. It'll be resolved, I think, very quickly. This is what I find astonishing in this whole argument the school boards are making. Number one, they say they're following CDC recommendations. CDC recommends vaccines. I'm vaccinated. My staff informed me not a single school district in the entire state of Commonwealth of Virginia has actually mandated a COVID-19 vaccine for their students. So they're not following that recommendation. And the second is, last year and the previous year under Governor Northam, through his broad emergency powers under the Virginia law, Governor Northam used executive orders to shut down private businesses, shut down schools, and to issue mask mandates. What we're arguing is the Governor Youngkin, also under this broad authority conveyed on him under Virginia law, has a right to adjust the executive orders to say we can make parents have the option on the mask mandate. You can't, as a school district, say on one hand, the governor has absolutely the right through executive orders to literally shut down schools and force mask mandate, and at the same time say Governor Youngkin, under that same authority, doesn't have a right to adjust that. We're very confident of our legal argument. We think we're going to prevail ultimately in court when it gets to the Virginia Supreme Court. But again, this is about parental empowerment. That's what this has been about. And listen, there was an op-ed today in the Washington Post, of all places, of an infectious disease expert who just showed the detrimental impact this is having on our children. It has been horrific. And they actually looked at a high school in Massachusetts that went to a mask optional policy. and over 70% of the children at that school said their education and their learning improved. Over 70%. So we have seen test scores in Virginia just crater in so many of the areas that we absolutely are just horrified by areas that are just right now having devastating impact on educational opportunities. And so this is about parental empowerment. Having a child wear a mask for 8 hours a day, particularly the age when they're learning nonverbal communication, is just very, very difficult. It's about parental empowerment.
And if you live in one of those school districts, you have to ask, when does it end? What's the end date on this required masking? The only other answer to the question, Attorney General, would probably be what many people have chosen to do, which is to vote with your feet. Move to some place where your children are allowed to do as you as a family see fit. But in the meantime, you fight it in the legal system. Attorney General Miyares, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.